There's a lot of excitement in the Queen City as the building of Buffalo continues. There's been growth downtown, on the waterfront, and at the medical campus. But there is a section of the city where prosperity is scarce. Channel 2's Erica Brecher takes a look at what's being done on the east side and what still needs to change, as we continue to hold people in power accountable.
On William Street in Buffalo, a small food pantry sees clients of every color and every age.
We have people that come in here that's homeless.
Gloria Swain has been running this food pantry for 14 years.
We have people that comes in here that their children haven't ate in days.
Where she has seen it all.
We have people that come in here that have jobs and can't afford to buy food.
Gloria says those with jobs might be making just over the threshold to qualify for food stamps. That's when they end up at her pantry. Perhaps it's not shocking. 14.9% of Erie County residents live in poverty. That's about 133,000 people, nearly 40% of whom do have jobs.
I have went home crying because of people that couldn't feed their children and people that just didn't have.
That's in the heart of Buffalo's east side, which continues to face poverty issues that are statistically worse than elsewhere in the city. But a mile west, downtown and on the waterfront, things look like new again, and ongoing development has spawned a rebirth in Buffalo.
We have a tremendous disparity in the city of Buffalo and West New York.
Charlie Fisher has been a social justice advocate for decades. Residents in his neck of the woods feel Buffalo's development is bittersweet.
You don't hate on the fact that somebody else is doing well, but you just wonder, when are they going to get to us?
The statistics are evidence of the disparity Fisher talks of. According to Buffalo Business First, more than half of East Side residents have an annual income of less than $25,000. For the rest of Buffalo, only 37% of people make $25,000 or less.
That's where most of the money to redevelop Buffalo, the Community Development Block Grant of the federal government, comes based on those census tracts that are so impoverished. Unfortunately, a lot of that doesn't go back.
Housing and urban development has given Buffalo less and less money each year for a decade now, after a slew of problems, including poor documentation of how community development grants were spent. Federal officials told us in 2014 they felt at least some money was misused. Mayor Byron Brown, who has helped lead much of Buffalo's revitalization, defends the city's progress. Brown says he helped leverage millions to build 1,200 new housing units for low-income families on both the east and west sides, and that public infrastructure upgrades will attract private sector business.
We will see on the east side of Buffalo and other areas of Buffalo where there hasn't been that vibrant investment of money right now. That's going to move in that direction because the demand is so high right now.
But it's not there quite yet, and the city's poorest are anxiously waiting while watching new buildings rise in the distance.
It's like they have money to put up new buildings and to try to make Buffalo look good, but they're not hitting the heart of the problem. The problem starts at home.
How can we incentivize developers to build at the far end of Broadway?
Well, what I've tried to suggest to people and what the reality is what's happening downtown is for all of us. So Harbor Center, for example, that's employing people from all over the city, including the east side, all over the region.
But that trickle down doesn't always work.
Brown says he convinced the state to help Buffalo buy a large parcel of land called the Northland Project, which he says will eventually be used for industrial development. And like Solar City, that would provide local employment opportunities, but this time specifically in the east side. Nearby, he's working on a comprehensive workforce development training center.
It's a $44 million facility that will be on Northland Avenue on Buffalo's east side. This will be right there where those residents can very much take advantage of that.
He says it's slated to open in 2017.
We're on a good path. What we need to do is accelerate what we're doing.
And that, Mayor Brown thinks, is just on the horizon.
When I came into office, Buffalo had the highest percentage of vacant housing in the entire nation. That is no longer the case, and now those areas are ripe for investment.
Charlie Fisher thinks more can be done.
Who would have thought that the waterfront and canal side would be developed in 10 years like it has? That took careful planning and vision and pointing companies with interest to that.
But Fisher's okay starting small. He'd like to see a revitalization of East Side storefronts.
I want to see, and I'll continue to enjoy and be proud of Elmwood and Hurdle, but I also want to be proud of Jefferson and Fillmore and Bailey.
And Gloria Swain's message to Mayor Brown is clear.
I mean, help the ones that need it, not the ones that don't need it. I mean, that's how I feel.
So what would you say to them?
Well, I would say to them it is happening in their neighborhood. You know, on Fillmore Avenue, we did a $2.2 million streetscape project. We invested over $4 million in Martin Luther King Park, in the wading pool, in the picnic shelters.
A strong connection to poverty is the education gap. And on Buffalo's east side, 1 in 5 people don't have a high school degree. Societal change is also critical to Buffalo's success, and in terms of helping the east side catch up, that may prove to be the hardest challenge of all. So while Buffalo is on the rise and we should celebrate that, we should just also keep in mind that some neighborhoods have a long way to go. Erica Brecher, Channel 2 News.